David and Joseph, what's up? How you doing?
What's going on?
Bless up. Well, good to see you. I'm doing great. Saturday
Oh,
morning, feeling good.
oh yeah, Saturday morning. It's great to see you guys. It's been such a long time. This is really the first time we really got a chance to catch up. So,
Yes.
how you guys been since we last saw each other?
Man, like everybody, weaving through this whole COVID and all that stuff going on, and just trying to stay as positive, and trying to stay as productive as possible during these times. I don't know what they
Same. Just trying to stay as healthy and hydrated. Just trying to continue to stay creative and to stay as busy as possible, safely, as busy as possible, and just continue to grow and continue to spread good vibes. I mean, that's the mission right now.
I'm glad we're still connecting. After we did the filming in Memphis, when I had the travel series for a little bit. Since then, we've obviously connected a little bit, but I'm glad that now we got a chance to, follow up. You got this new album that just came out, but now we're doing the Zoom thing. So I'm glad that, this is something that we can actually occur over again and, keep in contact with each other.
Thanks, right. Thanks, man. Like I was saying earlier, it's just been cool seeing like the interviews even that you've been getting. Like I was like, this one, I was like, Cranium, how you get all these been different? I was like, this is bad. This is badass.
Awesome, man.
Oh man.
I guess that's one of the good things about everything that's happening to Jay, to reach out to those artists as well, other than having to drive or fly to Jamaica. But it's dope.
That's awesome, man.
Well, it was challenging, after I did the last episode in Austin, Texas. I have to, drive around where I originally was from. But the fact that I still committed to it, I was like, I needed to keep myself occupied during, especially when COVID first began. So, I'm glad that, I still committed to doing this. And again, like I can follow up with you guys and, maybe we can continue doing this probably every year.
Yeah.
Yes, that'd be dope.
I would love it. I would love it.
We definitely like I told some people the other day, I was like, we're going to continually put out. Well, people are going to get not annoyed of us with the amount of music
content.
We laugh at that. So, but 2021 and beyond is 22 and 21 looking. Extra Irie.
And I was listening to, our previous interview before, and Joseph, and you kept saying over again, like 2020, you're like 2020, like you were still committed, like, I gotta give you props for that too, like, with the whole COVID, a lot of things delayed and people's plans, but no, you guys still committed. You said, in 2019, 2020, something's gonna come out, and before the year's over, 2020, and you guys came out with Crew Vibes.
I can't tell you. We were looking at the schedule. I was like, it's coming closer and closer and closer. We gonna put something out.
Right. I'm glad you called back to that, because that just made me laugh. We kept saying 2020, we're gonna make something happen, and you were the first person to point that out again. I'm glad we kept our word and everything.
Oh yeah.
We didn't let the situation overcome us to the point that we couldn't continue to put something out to help people get through. Because I'll say this: when we first released the record yesterday, one of our fans on our Instagram page, she immediately said, "Okay, this is my soundtrack for the day, for the week." That's what we want. That's what kind of response I'm looking for. I'm like, people, because I got some friends that don't want to put out reggae music right now, don't know if it's the right time and all that. I'm like, what are you waiting for? This is your vocation.
Oh yeah.
Make people feel good. Like,
oh yeah.
There's so much entertainment that's kind of held off right now.
Oh yeah.
Big budget movies and concerts. If you can give these people like virtual concerts and on videos or music, and you have that skill and that talent, why hold back? Just release it in abundance, especially to your fans. I mean, they need it. It's a necessity. Like, it's part of their survival kit for them now. So it's a good distraction from the destruction. I mean, so yeah, That's how I feel about when you said that. It just made I'm like, yes, yes, yeah.
I go back to the firm foundation every once in a while, and before you guys weren't collaborating with too much artists on your music, but now you guys have, have more and more artists featured on it. So what made you want to start working more outside with other musicians?
Normally, if people know from our live shows and live things we do, we've always been a band to try to build a community of artists around. And we kind of wanted to, specifically with this project, which is titled Crew Vibes, we wanted to try to bring as much of the people that we normally rock with and normally we've done stuff with in the past together to make a cohesive project that literally I think that I think it's something like none other that I've heard in recent of the reggae years. It's like we just really were reaching out to people like to people that know, like I was saying, those from live shows. We do that a lot. Bring different artists that we don't, normally get a chance to see all the time, and that we admire and that are good, just artists in general. I don't know about you, Dave.
Oh, yeah. The same thing. Like Crew Vibes. Not only was that was was that the reason we named it because we were collaborating with a lot of different artists. And what's crazy is on the first record, we actually wanted to collaborate with a lot more art. It was just a time situation. Like we couldn't really get enough people in there. Like there's certain horn players we wanted to have, certain background vocalists, certain features we wanted to have, and just time wouldn't allow it. It was, and we were on like a real shoestring budget, shoestring time limit, and everybody that's on it are people that needed to be on it, and just added an extra something special to every track that feature on, and that's why I love the fact that we can finally do that with this record. Like that's been a major step. Something like I said, something we wanted to do, but now we actually can. We had the time and we did.
It seems like you guys are having fun. I started seeing that you collaborate with more. I don't know if he's a local in Memphis, but Ryan Peele, you collaborated with him on
Yes.
his music, but he's like seems to be heavily involved with your music, especially with this album. So how did this whole partnership begin with him?
What's crazy about shout out to Ryan Peele because literally we've known him for look 10 plus years, over 10 plus years, and literally like we played gigs with him in the past. We've actually did a little recording with him in the past, but because of this whole COVID thing, we actually got a chance to sit down. We like just had we were working on his project. It's out called The Island. His project is out on a track called Bad Bad Ting, and that literally catapulted what comes into what we did with Crew Vibes because literally we were in there. We were like, man, this energy. Like we were like, even for instance, when he called, because basically when we made initially before we got in the studio with him, I sat down like made a whole bunch like this whole quarantine. I've been literally trying to make beat instrumental whatever each day almost. Like I have like
Mhm.
30, 40. I'm not saying they're all great beats, but but I got
Yeah.
like 30 or 40 in the holster for it. But they're literally when we brought him that track specifically, he had a vision for it and everything. And from there, we we just started creating and creating. And that's one thing I love about Ryan. That he's like a go getter when it comes to getting stuff done. And I was like, man, that's what you need. And that's what,
Yeah.
and hence why he's the executive producer of the project that we did the Crew Vibe because literally he'll stay on you. We gotta get this done or not? What we doing? What we doing? What we doing? I'm like, you need that.
Yeah.
You need those other people in your life.
And he comes from a more pop R&B rap background, but even before we actually started playing with him, when he released his first record, he had a reggae track on his record. And then after that, he put out a dance hall track, and and he would play certain Bob Marley songs with us, and he would lead. He would sing them lead, and then Omar would come back and do something. Then we would do something with him. And so it was just like a natural, organic fit. Like everything just was like a puzzle, and and he was one of the missing elements that we needed. Ryan was just like, "Oh man, I love what you got. Send me some more. Send me." And we just sat in the studio with him. We brought our instruments and we just actually started making stuff from scratch and just collaborating, coming up with ideas, writing. It was just it's just been fun.
This is like piggybacking what Dave was saying. This is one of the first times that I've ever been able to like bring basically the blueprint of a song, and then we literally from there we just build it and keep building it, and it come out almost exactly how it is in my mind and everybody else's mind. Because literally, when I tell you, we've had sessions where it seems like it's a rush. We got to go in there. You on the time? What you doing? Blah 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 blah. I'm like, I'm trying to create. I'm trying to create. Get rushing me. I mean, I understand that people are busy, but come on now.
And something interesting you started really dedicating yourself doing this year. I can't recall if you started doing it as well as last year, but getting more into visuals. This is the first time. I mean, I've seen music videos of your, live performances, but this is actual music videos you made dedicated for each song. So what made you want to be more focused on visuals this time around?
We've always wanted to do like we actually started a video years ago for heavy meditation that never cut. Like we got like the pieces of that. It may still come out. We may still try to piece it and do something with it. And but this has been the one time that we weren't gigging a whole bunch, we weren't running here and there. We could actually sit down and be like, we don't have a music video. Let's do it. And we literally just from especially not doing live shows, we wanted to keep our name and our face out there in some way, shape, form, or fashion. So we said, "Hey, let's do a music video." Our goal is, fingers crossed, we want to do a music video for every song on the project. So fingers crossed. But if we can get another 2 or 3, I'm good. Nah, I'll be a happy camper when it comes to that.
Same. Like not only just for us, because like you said, this literally is the first Chinese connection I've ever seen. Videos, music videos. These are the first visuals, and we wanted to also do this for the people at home too. During quarantine, we didn't care about like views, anything. We in Reggaeville, big ups to them. People like sponsored and monetized. We don't care about views or anything like that. We just wanted feedback and to know that people saw it and it was getting people through their day. And I'm just glad that with technology and the budget we had, we were able to really do these videos and make them very as creative as possible with and make it all make sense. I mean, so I'm happy with how everything came out.
Did you guys have to do practice a lot of social distancing during music videos?
Oh yes, well yeah. It was from checking temperatures from people before we started shooting it. From just making sure everybody face mask, making sure everybody was covered. Like if you look at what's the video? Logic video. David got a face mask, did almost all of it. And they got behind the scenes videos. Like, okay, time to shoot. Okay, let's do it. But what it was really, I think we were just trying to make everybody as comfortable as possible during these times. I know people are like antsy, like I don't know, because they're trying to get people to come down for a music video. They're like, is there going to be a whole bunch of people? Are those people tested or anything? I'm like, everybody's saying we just want to make everybody as comfortable as possible. And during these shoots, we've been trying to keep it minimal because like even for Warzone, we had an idea of like having like a whole bunch of people, and we were like, right now is not the time.
And what's kind of cool about the mask being in there, it kind of also snapshots the time period. I don't know what the future is going to bring, but when you look back at these videos, you can definitely say that's 2020 right there. That's 2020. That's part of that's almost part of the entire for the time and the everything that's going on. So even from one of the early photo shoots we did for Ryan Peele's single "Bad Bad Thing," I had mine for one of the pictures. I still have a mask. I took it off for some of the other shots, but I still had it on. I was just very
very cautious.
Right. Very cautious.
Did you guys create the Warzone song before 2020, before everything, all this started happening?
The Warzone, like literally, that was, that was done in January before, like they start talking about COVID like
Mm-hmm.
that. And like I know I got done with that. And like, was that? Yeah, it was January. It was January something.
Okay.
Okay, I think it was the end
Because
of
it was
January.
pretty early, yeah.
And I started working on. Literally, I had the instrumental done. We didn't really get we had the hook done.
Yeah.
Literally, we did a show. We did a show out in what's that town? Well, not town hall. What is it? What is it? City Hall?
City Hall.
The City Hall in Memphis. We did a little thing for the protesters out there during the time after the whole thing happened with George Floyd.
Mm-hmm.
And Breonna from there, Breonna Taylor, everybody, all those people have been slain.
Yeah.
And literally, we were outside and we came up with the chorus like right there. We were like, it's a war zone out because literally, if you were in Memphis around that time, you go outside, specifically downtown, it was like a whole bunch of people on the street protesting. Some people actually peaceful protesting, and some people out there to stir up stuff. Literally, you can see like some people like literally. I understand we're enraged. I'm not gonna tell anybody how to express their feelings when it comes to anything.
Yeah.
But we're tearing down our own community. Community, we're not doing any justice. So it is. But yeah, the beat for it, the instrumental for it, we did in January around, and then the actual chorus and stuff became like middle of this year. What's crazy is like Flogging specifically, like with that song, the instrumental for that, I guess like the blueprint, the bare bones of it was done 2 years ago. And the lyrics for the verses specific, like I wrote the whole chorus, but the verses, the first verse I wrote, and actually the third verse that I do in the song, Omar wrote. So I actually took up that part from the one he wrote and put it together. Like even on the ending of what's the part? The part we're done dying in the streets. I was like, that stuff is actually like when you see like George Floyd and you see all the other people that's been like senselessly murdered. You literally that stuff that was 2 years ago. He wrote that. And then, then you see it now, it's like, wow, it's just crazy to see how literally some things have changed and some things haven't. But it's up to us to try to bridge all this stuff together the best way we can.
Well, Joseph, I gotta thank you for giving me an advanced copy of the Crew Vibes album, which it's released now. But I have to say, my favorite song, which came out before the album, was "Honey," which obviously my favorite, which you guys know is my favorite part, is David's guitar solo, which that is a guitar solo, man. And I did feel like that '80s vibe, and I was like, whoa, that just came out of nowhere. The song. It's like a smooth dance hall R&B song, especially the vibe in the video with Joseph just chilling.
And what's cool, the mindset behind the whole song, it's supposed to be like a fantasy, like because if you listen to the lyrics, like Joseph said, he's thinking that he's with the girl. And even in Rico's verse, he said, "Let me be your fantasy. I can be your fantasy." Ryan says, "You can be my fantasy." It's like it's a lot of like little quick fantasy moments, like of the dream girl,
right?
And and talking to each other. Well, everybody's both kind of shy about talking to each other, but we both want that embrace, and we both can feel it. And so the climax, when the solo comes in, is just that embrace, and then Ryan's verse is kind of like just talking his shit, and, and then we close it on up. So that's just a little bit of like we couldn't put all that into 2 minutes or so.
But just a little behind the scenes. Look, what David was saying. If you look at everybody's clips of the video, if you look at Rico's clip at his part from the chorus, and you look at my part, you look at the ending of all of our verses, like it's a moment of like where we're alone, kind of. I don't mean to get too deep about this, but
Mhm.
where it's like we're literally like fantasizing about these situations. So like he's walking with the girl, and then he's going to the chorus. He's by himself.
Mhm.
After I do my part in my video, my verse, literally I'm by myself at the end.
Mine did a solo. The camera
It's
spreads on
going
this.
up.
Yeah.
It's just constantly like,
And on Ryan's part, he's like he's singing, and you see the little part with the girl's bag with the honey, and then he's by himself. It's like
whoa,
it's like literally this is
felt something.
like
Yeah.
it's a big.
We get deep.
We get
Yeah.
deep.
Oh yeah.
It's
I
a,
felt,
it's a,
dude. I got that song on repeat, man. Yeah.
that's, that's the vibe, though.
That's
That's
the
the
vibe.
vibe.
And I'm always posting stuff like on the Instagram stories, and I gotta, and I don't do the music for me. I do it for like anyone that wants to look at it. But I always skip toward whenever I play Honey. I skip towards that guitar solo. I was like, yo, I
That's the
got to share that
vibe.
guitar solo with them.
Much love, brother. Much love. That'd be fun.
Because when I tell you when we first arranged the song, because it was just gonna be vocals, like Dave was saying earlier, it was gonna be vocals. I was like, no, this needs some kind of solo, a guitar solo. And
Yeah.
then when David came in there and hit us with the Prince, Gary Clark meets David meets
Oh yeah.
all these other
Oh yeah.
all
Oh
this, I
yeah.
was like, yeah, this fits too perfect. It's too perfect.
Oh
And
yeah.
that's a thing. That's a thing you really don't hear a lot. It's just recently been like you hear like a lot of songs have like guitar in it, but that kind of '80s soloing in it,
Hmm.
that vibe for it, you don't hear a lot of these. You hear guitar solos, mind you, but not like that. Like,
Yeah.
that's like an extreme throwback. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I've obviously gone through all your songs and all your music, and on this album, Joseph, I noticed that you play more of a lead vocalist. So do you mind sharing like what made you want to be more active in that role?
Oh man, what's crazy? What a lot of people don't know. A couple people, but it was like only displayed at a couple of live shows. Our plan was specifically with music going on after Firm Foundation that me, David, and Omar were all going to do like more lead stuff. And we're going to share a lot of lead music and all that stuff.
Hmm.
And literally after Omar passed, it was like we got to keep this going some way, some shape, form, or fashion. We're in the midst of me making a lot of the instrumentals, like choruses, start coming to me like this, and I was like, oh, who can I get to do? I was like, no, who can I get to do? Let me
Yeah.
let me get
Yeah.
up and do it. Let David before we reach out there, like even with crew vibes, before we reached out to anybody, we were like, what makes sense for the song?
Hmm.
If we can't deliver what makes sense in our head, we're gonna find the right person that can. And
Yeah.
but lead vocal vibes been like something we've been planning for the longest. And like David does it in a couple songs, I do it in a couple, but it's definitely different, especially when it comes to live show performances. We haven't done much live during this whole
Quarantine.
quarantine and stuff, but
Yeah.
going forward, like literally, I've just been trying to build my chops up to be to be out in front more and do more vocal stuff because literally, Peele, and it was just released the project, and people are already talking about Joseph. That's you on there, David. That's you on there. I didn't know y'all. Cause I was
Well, David, and you're rapping more on this album too.
like,
And what's crazy is, so I'm like a big Yellow Man, Super Cat, Bravado, Beanie Man, of course Shaggy. Like
Yeah.
those were always some of my favorite dancehall artists, and I used to do a lot of the patois stuff, like on Getaway. Like first, I was in our blood on our mother's side; she's West Indian, Jamaican. But
Yeah.
so I wanted to actually add that, and not because we got approached by we got some friends out here that do dancehall, and then but patois is like they're like kings of it, and
Mhm.
I'm just starting it up. So, but what I love, my favorite patois like dancehall artists are like simple, basic, Barrington Levy, like I said, Yellow Man and stuff like that. And for this album, I was like, let's do it, let's go, let's
Yeah.
keep it old school '80s, and then
Yeah.
on the rap side, I'm just such a big UK fan, like Skeptic Gigs and all that, and I'm like, let's be creative.
Yeah.
Let's just do something different. Let's add.
let's have the dance on the patois, the rapping. And Joseph was just like, he encouraged it even more. He was just like, no, yeah, let's do that.
That goes back to what I was saying earlier. When we started this project, we were like, what can't we do first before we go grab somebody to do something? Like if you on me specifically, we could have got any rapper to do that third verse. Well, David does a great British accent that that we literally he did on Lotomy. I was like, man, I want to because this is we're artists. Where it's about creating something.
I got a shout out on one of our good friends, Shay. Omar, we first met him in 2014, and he's from the UK.
Yes.
And he came to one of our Bali tributes, and he was just so enamored. He said, "Whoa, man, I love you, Chinese Connection." He's just been a fan of us since then, and we would talk to him for hours since 2014.
Right.
That his accent was just starting to rub off on us. I'm like, all right, brother. See, I'm like, what? What did I just? So that's just a part of us, man, in a funny way. But it's definitely not satirical. It's fun. We have fun, but it's definitely serious stuff.
And that's one thing about this project that we gave people a culmination of a whole bunch of different vibes on. Hence, I go back to crew vibes. But like literally, we got your political stuff, we got your roots, we got your lovers rock, and we got dancehall, Afrobeat. But in between some of those songs, you get to see our personalities. Right. It's not all let's be extra serious with it.
I gotta give you guys credit. I learned more about like just the history of roots reggae just talking to you guys. Like I sometimes obviously I'm a big fan of reggae music, and I've always tried to delve into like different parts of reggae and other genres. But yeah, I mean, just like talking to you guys, I'm always learning like. So especially, we were talking about last time with Elvis' association with reggae and Bob Marley's song. But yeah, I'm always learning from you guys.
Oh, thank you, brother, man.
The Memphis, and what's scary, and I'm always like you. I'm always learning too, and still studying. The Memphis connection with just reggae music and hip hop is so strong. Kool Herc, who brought the dancehall scene to New York to Queens. Some of his early records that he used to spin off of when he would throw these and do breaks, which became break dancing with b-boys, and which was one of the elements of hip hop that started hip hop. The MC, the DJ, which in Jamaica was the also MC, but Toaster and the Selector. So the DJ was the Selector, Toaster was the MC. The bridge between Memphis. Some of the beats he used to break off were Booker T and the MGs, Memphis, and Stax Records. And people don't realize that a lot of that stuff in New York that he was spinning and get people to rap over and dance over were Memphis records. Mm-hmm. And Wu-Tang Clan, one of the biggest early rap groups, one of the most influential rap groups, along with 3-6 Mafia from Memphis, Tennessee. A lot of their beats, they sampled a lot of Memphis records.
The Stax, all that name.
Joseph, you mentioned earlier about including some verses from Omar. So how do you feel that you all keep Omar's memory alive in this new album?
First, if people listen to it, like even in Florida, like we got Easter eggs through the whole project that you hear, like vocal Easter eggs of Omar in the album. You really got to listen for it. Like we're actually like like Warzone with the beginning of it. When it comes in, is this is a real thing? That's Omar. There's his vocals that literally we chopped up in there and put it in. Like throughout the album, you hear like different inflections of him through it. And then, like I said, with Flogin, from the third verse, I took what he would have done. And even for I'll say this, from every bass line on that project, I went into it of, how would Omar do it? Even the Ryan Peele, he was saying, he was like, man, that sounds like something Omar would do before I said anything. Because literally, I took everything in because he's like the sensei, and we're like we're like the students, and it is what it is. Like his presence is felt throughout the album. Even on the video stuff, we're like, how would Omar do? So no, it's that, and even in the coming things that we got coming up musically wise, yeah, it's
it's there. It's gonna be there,
Yeah.
whether we like it or not.
Well, guys, we're at a recurring segment in this podcast called Self Reflections. So, what's the best thing you learned about yourselves during this past year?
Man, patience, and two things specifically: patience and just go with the not go with the flow, but go along with the ride when it comes to a lot of stuff. Because because a lot of people when this year started, they said 2020 vision. We're gonna get this, that, this. I just knew I was gonna put out the project.
Yeah.
That's all we and like literally this whole COVID and pandemic stuff was really like made everybody have to pivot to something else or
Oh, yeah.
try to find another from a source of income to everything. Literally traveling right now is being stopped and going out of the country and all that stuff. So just patience and trust in the process. Really, that's really, for me. Those are the two main things that literally I've been working on the essence of uh, not caring, the essence of uh, being more present with stuff, and not
Mhm.
like, oh, what's gonna happen? What we gotta do 2 months from now? Except enjoy the present. It's
Yeah.
here for a reason.
Yeah.
Hence the word present.
Oh man, I guess I just realized that everybody. This is the first time I had a feeling of everybody being in the same boat. Like we all really feeling things at the same time. Like for how everybody feels about politics, we just had enough of like the BS that was going on the political side, and we
Mhm.
wanted to stand up and revolt against that. To how people being mistreated in the streets, to how we to take care of ourselves, and it's all stuff I do and we would always preach on, but to actually see it, like everybody's like really like, you know what, I want to learn how to do this. I want to build. I want to fix this. I want to fix this around the house. I want to mend these relationships. I want to get away from this kind of relationship,
Mhm.
and I want to do. I want to find my peace and my
Right.
balance,
Yeah.
and center and reset and grieve. Like it's a lot of people. Like sometimes you feel like, man, I'm only dealing with this problem with what just happened. Even with Omar's situation, nobody else is dealing with it. But then you see on the news every day with the whole COVID thing, like so many people are actually like hurting with family members in the hospital and stuff like that. And it just showed you how just gave you a sense to know you're not alone in your struggle. Somewhere, somebody is dealing with, if not the same thing, something sometimes worse or whatever. Just I'm a lot more grateful too.
Thanks.
So grateful and thankful, and spiritual wise, it's just maybe really zone in and really like wanted to be a lot more centered spiritually with this whole situation. So I'm thankful for that too, being able to realize that and want to do better and are doing better.
Yeah.
And so yeah,
If they to piggyback on what David said, there's one thing that I hope people take out of all of this whole pandemic situation is to become a little bit more, just a little bit more passionate for each other.
yeah,
Mhm.
Because literally, we're seeing that we can't. A lot of this stuff that we thought, that a lot of people thought that I can do this by myself. I can do this by myself. No,
Yeah.
you're seeing slowly but surely. It
Yeah.
takes a community, it takes a village
Oh,
to
yeah.
make this stuff happen. So I hope, and fingers crossed that people don't let this time pass and they don't learn anything after it. So
right.
because I know I have, I know I've learned a
Yeah.
lot. I've
Yeah.
learned a lot of stuff.
Great. Well, thank you for sharing that. Since we're wrapping up, is there anything you want to share with our listeners?
Oh man, head over to you can catch us Instagram is the CCDE Vibes, Facebook Chinese Connection Embassy, Spotify, the new record. That's a Bandcamp, the new record. All the digital retail stuff. The new record. That's like our main focus right now. We're really trying to get this out to as much people as possible, and literally just get everybody's feedback, because we put like, literally this whole year has been dedicated to that project in a sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, we hope we gave, we hope, no, we know we gave, and there's more come. There's more to come. Features. When I tell y'all 2021, if everybody enjoyed Lil Wayne when he put out the Carter 3 and he kept putting out those features, that's us. 2021.
He's gonna hold you to that.
Well,
Oh yeah.
I get.
Oh yeah.
I'll tell you that 2021. I give you a good 15 to 20 features.
Oh man.
I'm telling you, I'm saying that now. It's happening. It's happening. I don't know. Yeah. plus more music, all that stuff, and we actually gearing up. We want to make a deluxe edition of this project, because literally we got like 5 or 6 more tunes that did make the cut for the album that we definitely think is going to be well received. Hopefully, if everything goes right, we'll have some top of next year. If not a Crew Vibez Deluxe, another project. So it's what it is.
Yeah.
It's what
Yeah.
it is. But you get more music. Y'all stuck with us now.
Well, I appreciate having this conversation with you guys. I'm glad that we got a chance to reunite. Obviously, we're going to do another episode. Maybe we'll do this every year, catch up with you guys. But I appreciate this from the bottom of my heart. Next time we got to have some barbecue, even if it's like via Zoom.
We gotta make this happen.
I'll fire up the grill. We can do this outside.
We're trying to see if we can get everybody with smell-o-vision, because that's the only way you're gonna enjoy it. No, it's a must. It's a must.
Yeah. But appreciate this. But David and Joseph, thank you so much for joining us in Irie Chat, and best of luck on everything.
Bless, brother. Thank you.
Love you, brother.
Love you guys too.